Welcome to the Instructor Advisor Table training video. I'll be explaining the Instructor Advisor pages in PeopleSoft, as well as how to add a professor to a class section. Before an instructor can be added to a class, they must be given permission to teach for a given department. The Instructor Advisor table grants this access. If you know your department's academic organization, you may navigate to the Instructor Advisor table by going to Curriculum Management, Instructor Advisor Information, Instructor Advisor Table. If you do not know the academic organization of your department, you must first navigate to the Maintain Schedule of Classes page in PeopleSoft. This can be found by going to Curriculum Management, Schedule of Classes, and selecting Maintain Schedule of Classes. Once you locate the class section you wish to update with instructor information, make sure the Basic Data tab is selected. Look for the abbreviated code under the Academic Organization field. In this example, CGS-admin is the code we will need to successfully add an instructor to the class. If you're unfamiliar with how to use this page, please watch the training video titled Maintain Schedule of Classes under the training section on the registrar's website. Now let's navigate to the Instructor Advisor table. As a refresher, click Curriculum Management, Instructor Advisor Information, Instructor Advisor Table. You will land on the search page. If you know the PeopleSoft ID number of the individual, you may type it into the field. In this example, we'll be using 1084699. If you do not know the ID number, you can search by using last and first name. When searching by name, your results may return multiple entries. It's important to be sure the person you select is the correct individual. This is to avoid assigning an instructor role to a student. If you cannot locate the person you are looking for, you need to check with your department's payroll administrator to see if their record has been processed by Human Resources. Once your selection is made, the following screen will display. The most important piece of information is the effective date. This determines what term an instructor may begin teaching. For example, if the university's published fall term date begins on August 31st, but the effective date is September 1st, the instructor will not be able to be added to a fall class section. Therefore, if you access the table after the start of the term, you must manually change the date to on or before this date. When updating instructor information, you'll encounter one of two scenarios. First, when creating a record for a new instructor, the table will default to the current day. To reiterate, this date may be used if it falls on or before the first day of the desired term. If the date shown falls after the start of the term, you must backdate this entry to on or before the start of the term. In this case, the date falls before August 31st, so we may use this date. When making a change to an existing instructor's record, you must add a new row by using the plus button. Once you add a new row, the current date will show under the effective date. Adjust this date accordingly if needed. If you accidentally save the record using a date occurring after the desired term, you will not be able to edit this date and must contact the course and classroom scheduling office to have the record corrected. Next, navigate to the drop-down menu under Instructor Type. You may choose Advisor only if the individual is only an advisor, or Instructor if the individual is an instructor. If the individual is both an instructor and an advisor, you must check the box next to Advisor to grant access to both roles. Under Academic Institution, UPIT is the default and the only option available. Under Primary Academic Org, type in UPIT. Leave available as the choice under Instructor Available. The data listed under the header for Instructor Advisor role is not required. It can be used to limit advisor access to a certain school. If you would like to use these optional features, please contact the course and classroom scheduling office for details. If you are only adding an advisor, you may click Save to finish. If you are adding an instructor, do not click Save yet. You must first navigate to the second tab titled Approved Courses. The following page will display. Navigate to the Academic Org field. Here, we enter the code that we looked up on the Maintain Schedule of Classes page. If you remember, that was CGS-admin. You may also search available academic organizations by clicking on the magnifying glass. Then click on Lookup. Here is a list of all available academic organizations. The descriptions can be found next to the code. Be sure to grant access only to the organizations an instructor will be teaching. If the instructor teaches multiple academic orgs, click on the plus button to add additional rows. When all necessary information is complete, you may click the Save button. If an instructor ever leaves the university, you should inactivate the account. This can be done by adding a new effective row, changing the date to whenever the professor is leaving, and choosing Inactive under Status. You may then click Save. In order to add the instructor to a specific class, you'll need to navigate to the Maintain Schedule of Classes page. First, go to Curriculum Management, Schedule of Classes, Maintain Schedule of Classes. Type in the term. For this example, it is 2161. The subject area will be PUBSRV, Public Service. The catalog number is also required, 0020. You may then click Search. If the class is offered across multiple campuses, be sure to select the appropriate campus. You will land on the basic data page. Here you can see that there are two sections offered. Make sure you select the correct section you wish to update. Once the class section is found, navigate to the second tab titled Meetings. Look for the blue header titled Instructors for Meeting Pattern. Once located, type the instructor's ID number. If you remember, that is 1084699. You can also use the magnifying glass to browse all instructors available to teach for this given academic organization. You can make a selection from this list. Next, navigate to the instructor role. Click the drop-down menu. Here you'll see Primary Instructor, Secondary Instructor, Special, or TA. We will choose Primary Instructor. If you would like the instructor's name to appear in the Schedule of Classes report, the class roster, and class search page, you must make sure that Print is checked. Next, you must choose the level of access. Your options are Approve or Grade. Approve status gives access to enter and approve grades, whereas grade access allows the user to only enter grades. This is typically used for TAs. You do not need to enter any information into the contact field. You may add additional instructors by clicking the plus button. When you are done adding all the instructors for this section, click Save. If you have any questions or would like to schedule additional training, please contact the Course and Classroom Scheduling Department in the University Registrar's Office at 412-624-7616 or email us at rs1000007@mail.pitt.edu.